Hey everybody, welcome to the Crossover Cinema Podcast. I'm Carlo.
And I'm
And I'm with
Kaya. You already know we're here to talk about House of the Dragon, Season 2, Episode 6. Things are going down, y'all. Things are going down. I think the coolest thing to see right now is that the lines have been drawn throughout these past two seasons, but we're seeing a more clear picture of, I think, who's actually allied to who. You know, who's only allied to themselves. And I think most of all, we're seeing Damon kind of just spiral. Like he's the person for me this episode that, like, I know his storyline's been like, what's the word? It's been staying in that same place. He's been having these hallucinations every episode, but I feel like we're building to this clear, like, catharsis for his character, I think. And I don't know if it's going to be negative or positive, you know, especially with Alice involved, but I really think so far it's been really, really crazy to see what's going on with him and the cameos.
no, all the episodes. Seriously, I love this. Seriously, a lot of favorite parts. I'm gonna start right now just by saying how, like, cutting his throat in the fire. That scene was chef kiss, like you could say.
He's my mannerisms, baby. You already know, but yes, chef's kiss, absolutely.
Yeah,
There was a lot of that this episode.
There was a lot of little, like, infinite and, like, oh yeah, there's a lot to say about, like, that episode, Kaya. Let's start right now, like, saying, like, giving goods to the people. Let's start with that. Like,
Well, I think let's just be
that
real.
was a power move, bro. That was a nice move. I was, like, on my chair. I was hyped about that. I was, they really got me with that. I was like, let's go, man. Like, I'm still there. I'm still thinking about you. Let's do
Shouts
this.
out to Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
She really went and said, listen, I'm going to come through and just do what the Dowager Queen and King Aemon won't, you know? I'm going to show you that if I was queen, what I would do for you, what I would give to you, what I would make good on. And it's like, there's nothing you could say about that that's, like, negative, you know?
The revolution is starting right now. Episode 6, that's what it was for me. Like, the beginning of revolution, and that recurrent theme of, like, everybody wants to be in power and everybody thinks about themselves, and we see it, like, with the guy that's trying to be the new hand of the king. I don't know his name. He just got, like, pushed off, and, like, you're gonna find me the one.
You're talking about
What's his name?
Christian Cole or Larry's. Well, it depends.
No, not Cole. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
About, like, the one that was like, "Hey, you need a new hand." You know, like, he's crippled.
Yes. Okay. So you're referring to
Yeah.
I think it's Lord Larry.
What's his name? Lord Larry.
Yeah. So for me, it's clear there's a power struggle between him and Cole in terms of their influence on the king and how they're trying to kind of, like, play it up, because, you know, Larry's has to be kind of like on the background, you know, or Loris, whatever his name is. He needs to be on the background, and he has to basically be out here making sure that he's not, you know, playing himself up too much, because Aemon is smarter than Aegon. He can just come around and just be like, hey, baby, I got you. Don't worry. I'm gonna take care of you. I'm gonna take care of you, right? And that's what he does towards the end of this episode. He realizes that influence he has over Aemon is not as strong as he does with Aegon, and it's
Aemon
cool.
is there, and he starts to have his tantrum too, man. We start to see, like, the real cards, how he would be, like.
It speaks for itself, honestly.
It's
like,
very interesting.
There's a clear angle in terms of what I think Aemon wants for the realm, and the realm doesn't really actually matter overall. It's more his view of how it goes for him. It's all about him. Everything is about what satiates his palate, what makes him happier, or what makes him feel vindicated, right? His mother putting her hand to his face and being like, are you not satisfied with the indignities done to you in your childhood? Have you not, you know, what would be the word, dealt with them enough? You killed the person who scarred you for life, and you still kind of wage this war and mad in that vein. You know, it's a very interesting thing to see. I
was sure that he would have, like, maybe killed his brother. I thought it was that scene. I don't know.
Listen.
At the end, he didn't, and I get it for the story, man. I think he's gonna come back, bro.
I feel
think
like
he's
he
gonna
can't.
come back.
He can't
He's
kill.
gonna come back like his father. He's gonna come back, maybe crippled, but he's gonna come back.
But that's the thing, though. I don't think he's able to kill Aegon as easily as it seems. I think there's too much of a clear power struggle between them prior to him being injured, and everybody knows it. So it's like, if everybody knows that you don't like him and he doesn't like you, and we all know you burned him in the battle, right? Because he rushed in. Let's just say if you were to just snuff him out in his sleep, put a pillow over his head, everybody would know who did it. And I'm sure Alicent would be the type to not let it go. And I could see that, you know, I could see that going down if that's what it leads to. If Aemon really wants to, you know, disrupt his family in that sort of way.
Bro, I think he wants to. I think it's clear that it's his goal to be king, man.
But that disruption within the family would be. It's crazy to think the way like the allegiances just shift so fast, and like how the entire like council is like, yeah, we like you, Aemon. We'll do everything you want, of course. Yeah, sure. You're great, bro. You're great. You want to stab this person up? Okay, sure. Why not?
But at the end, that's what this episode was a little bit about. Fear, man.
Oh, like overall, yeah.
They fear him, like they don't fear
Rhaenyra.
Yeah, exactly the same way.
But Rhaenyra
is something about it.
Is definitely at a deficit in that world as a woman because they don't perceive women as a threat, and not only as a threat but as a potential ruling force that can actually enact, you know, aggression and military tactics and all these sorts of things. And it's nice to see her kind of just take her throne back in a way, her metaphorical throne, I guess. Like, it really is that, like, she's looking around her and she's like, I am a queen. I am vying for this throne. You're not going to make me feel like I'm lesser than. I am, you know? And it's turning around and bitch slapping the dude.
Oh, yeah, bro.
Pop. That's how I feel.
Did we know, because I didn't remember when it happened, but did we know that they have a brother? Like, in Team Green, there's a third child.
So I actually wasn't aware. I wasn't aware.
I think we learned it right now because there was a lot of information there.
Maybe we got a one-off, like, throwaway line last season.
Didn't like how like the two other word, bro. So she sent her third child, like, at least you're not gonna be like them. That's what I think happened.
I wonder if we're gonna get that, like, expanded upon, like if we're gonna see more to that, like, that little plot line.
Maybe that child will arrive, bro.
No, but the same way that, like.
But he's 6. No, he's not gonna arrive.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I feel like in future seasons, though, you're planting that seed so that you can add another character over time and kind of expand again the lore and the families, because that's what this show tends to do. Is we tend to have a lot of sequences where, you know, it's just it's these families adding, a new person comes in, a new actor comes in, they're like, yeah, I'm also for Team Green. You know, the way her brother kind of came in. Her brother was there last season, but I'm pretty sure he was masked, so you never saw him. You never saw the actor. You know, when they were doing the competitions, right? So I feel like that sort of, like, angle of it allows them to build it up instead of having to show him, mention them, and then bring him up later and bring the actor in maybe when they're older and the years have passed in the show. And I could see that going down. I can really see that. I think Team Green is always kind of looking for new things. The writers are always looking for new things for Team Green to kind of have to deal with in terms of, like, drama, and that's just more drama. And we're here for the drama.
No, but that writing was really good for that episode. I really liked it. Like,
it was enough. It was enough for us to be able to see Rhaenyra in a different light, I think.
Yeah, also, in a different light, exactly. In the real light that she's supposed to be, I think.
I think in a lot of respects.
Because I'm Team Black.
We're both Team Black. This has been established. The thing is we're Team Black because of almost this inherent benevolence she has, but it's a benevolence that is seen as weakness by everybody else, save for the late Rhaenys and people like Corlys and Baela and her son. All her council, they see it as this sort of, like, just this inherent, like, oh, she's flawed. She's always going to be a little soft. And it's like, oh, you think I'm soft? You think I'm soft? You think I'm soft? I'm going to show you soft. I'm going to show you soft. And it's like, watch me. Watch this. Really, really and truly. Like, it's the sort of thing where I appreciate the writers showing. It depends on how you are interpreting it. I feel it's a slow descent into the angle that they pushed Daenerys in Game of Thrones. They rushed that completely. They didn't establish it well, and she just had this weird character turn where she went crazy, essentially, right? But I feel like with
But I
Rhaenyra,
don't think it was supposed to go like that. Seriously.
no, but I think
Like,
narrative.
back
No,
there,
but this is my point. Narratively, we don't know exactly what the books are supposed to do, right? So we don't have a blueprint in terms of understanding that choice in the adaptation on the TV show in that way. However, we all know it was weak. It was weakly done. It was weakly executed, right? So when I see this show to me, it feels like it's like if you had a series that was built around solely a Daenerys type character, someone who needs to kind of come back for her throne and take what is rightfully hers in a way, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like with Rhaenyra, you're getting that angle, and then at the same time, you're getting it fully developed over multiple seasons to see her slow descent into, like, I think being a bit evil, just a little bit.
Yeah.
I could see it.
In Game of Thrones, I think it was more too about like impressing like the audience. I think in like House of the Dragons, the audience know more where they're going. Like,
Yes, I
for
think
me, like I need less from House of the Dragons, but I need like settle stuff, and they're really giving it to me right now. Like all that gaming part about like the throne and like, hey, we switch kings a lot. Like we switch a lot of like movement of power too. We saw them all like being one after the other, a little bit in control of the situation,
Absolutely.
getting back. Like seriously, right now, I'm so happy, and that's what was missing for me on Game of Thrones. Like literally, like it was almost a Romeo and Juliet at the end, but with his aunt, like I don't know.
I feel like with this too, we're getting a clearer sense of like what the themes at play are and what they're going to kind of result in towards the end of this show. Like we can see the damnation that will consume this entire cast through this like intense war that they're waging against each other. And so for me, it's like a lot of what I'm really keen to see is how these more secondary characters like Sir Alan and his brother Adam, right, who now is presumably the newest dragon rider, right? Like there's a lot of things that I feel like we're moving in a direction where we're trying to again expand who's on these teams, what characters are involved, but I think also where the tragedies are going to lie. Like I think there's so many different people who are involved now who are going to suffer in some way because of this crazy ass war, and it's not a situation where I think anybody will leave unscathed, and I think that ultimately it'll damn both families in the long run, and I think that that's what we're kind of seeing now. This is about 200 years before Game of Thrones, so it's like I think it's setting up all the seeds for there to be no dragons, for there to be a more council ruled kind of world, like with Lannisters and etc. So I family's not tied to that godly like dragon royalty and those spirits, and I think that it's going to be very interesting to see whether or not anybody comes out of this situation even remotely okay.
Yeah, well, for sure we know like not a lot of people will survive all of this. That's for sure.
If we're looking at a character like Sir Alan's a perfect example of somebody who I feel like what we're seeing with them is what's the word I would use? Sir Alan's in a position basically as a character right now where he's not taking on the royalty in a way that his brother wants, like that fame and riches and all that. It's really, for him, it's just about kind of serving in the best way. That's why that one of the lines I liked the most in this episode was him saying that to Corlys, "Are you requesting me to do this, or are you commanding me?" And that commanding, the fact that if he commands him, he will do it. If he requests, he will say no. It's so interesting because it's like he needs the burden of like there's a word for it, but he needs the burden of this situation to make him want to go in that direction. He needs to be beholden to a person.
He just doesn't want to go, bro. He's resenting all his identity, man. He's cutting his hair at the max. Like, we know that it's gonna be like the next.
But I think
Dragons.
I think actually I disagree. I don't think he's going to be a rider of dragons. I think he's going to be.
I think he's going to be a rider of dragons.
I think Adam. I think his brother taking on the dragon is enough of a link to that to establish his foundation or his foundations with Corlys, and then allowing him to become not just the bastard son of Corlys, but become an actual heir to the throne or an heir to Driftmark, like, which is what we were talking about last week. Like, I think that's what we're going to be seeing. I think we're going to see Sir Alan take on the role of the sea, and I think his brother will take on the role of the Dragon Rider. And I think that's going to be their separate paths. It's going to be really interesting to see.
But for sure, we know one of them. Like, it's the guy that had his moment and was explaining to himself that he was the third cousin of I don't know who.
Absolutely, yes.
That's for sure. He's going to ride a dragon.
To add to that, we did get to have a little bit of a riot, like we kind of were thinking about. It wasn't at the same level as what happened in season 2 of Game of Thrones. However, it had that same kind of effect. And I think it was really cool to see the makings of the people starting to like riot and like, go against and rebel against the courts and the royalty while they're parading goats around to go have for supper every night. Like, of course you feel some type of way, and
right away, that was instinct. Like,
absolutely,
they received the goods, and man,
there was nothing else to it.
There was nothing else to it, man.
They're like, okay, Queen Rhaenyra. I love that one guy who ran. They had a little shot where the guy's running with her flag. I loved it. I was like, yeah, that's right. Rapid. It was cool. I really dig the way that they handled that, and it was like a small skirmish in the midst of what would presumably be an actual big riot in King's Landing, and seeing that character, the one who claims to be of Targaryen blood, right, coming into the situation and kind of, I think he's gonna definitely take on a role within the people and kind of like linking with them, but they'll definitely try and kill him for it. That's for sure. And I think it's gonna be really interesting to see who actually has issue with his claim. Will it be Team Black? Will it be Team Green? Will it be both? I think
Team Black will want him. That's for sure, man.
I think they definitely need people. I could see that, and I think her doing her delivery of goods, her aid drop definitely is going to be a good example of how to kind of establish that overall. But I think mostly for me, the thing I really want to just note and end on in this sort of way is the scenes with Mysaria and Queen Rhaenyra. I think I am so happy for the two of them. That's super sweet. It's super sweet. I feel like Rhaenyra deserves somebody who's down for her in all ways. And
okay, wait. You're already at that point where they're in a couple? You think they're gonna be in a couple?
Listen, I'm just saying. I
think that Rhaenyra needed to maybe blow some steam. I'm not sure she's like in love and shit. Let's see what's gonna happen.
I'm not talking about being in love, but I think that we're seeing the formings of this relationship starting to happen.
Yeah, let's see if relationship.
And I think we already have one essentially in a respect. They have a confidence in each other. They trust each other. Mysaria carries out all her requests and does the most that she can to serve her queen. And now it's being taken an extra step further. So it's really interesting to see how that's going to kind of play out. If it's going to actually lead to more tension between them, because now there is a amour aspect to it, or if it's going to be the sort of thing where it strengthens their bond and it makes them even tighter. And I think it's going to be really cool to see.
It's all positive, but I think maybe there's going to be something negative about that. Let's see.
I think when Daemon comes back and factors into it, that's going to be really interesting to see. We're going to really see. Yeah, absolutely. But really and truly, I'm super happy with this episode. I'm really happy to see what they do next week on the penultimate episode of the season. And you know how it is with Game of Thrones type series. It's usually the second to last episode, which we're getting next week, that has the most.
We're gonna be there. Yeah, but
and then the 10th
episode.
No, but here's the thing: the last one will always be a denouement, kind of just let us settle into what would be the next season. But the episode before that, everything hits to the balls to the wall, and I love it. And I'm so excited to see where it goes.
I'm so excited to see it too, man.
Well,
thank you guys being there. My name was Carlo.
You already know. I'm Kaya.
See you guys.
It's so exciting. Yay! Okay, we're going to see you next week on the next episode of the Crossover Cinema Podcast, episode 7 of House of the Dragon Season 2. Have a good one, y'all. Ciao.
Bye, guys.